Hey, welcome to Bartman's Garage. This morning I thought I would demonstrate the proper way of packing wheel bearings. Okay, one way I've seen people do it on YouTube is to put grease in the palm of your hand and simply roll the bearing through the grease. That does not really get the grease down inside the bearing where it needs to be. You need to get it in there deep and get it completely covered. Okay, the best way to pack a wheel bearing is to get some grease in your hand. Take the wheel bearing like this and just start basically cutting in, just pulling little bits and work your way through the grease until you see it start coming out the top. See the grease coming out the top? That's how you know your bearing is full of grease. And you just continue that all the way around. See the grease coming out the top? Okay, grease completely greased inside. I wouldn't put any more grease on the outside until you're ready to drop it into the hub. There's no point right now, so just set it aside and continue on with your other bearings. And there's a lot of ideas about how much grease you should put inside the hub. I've always been told you don't want to pack it clear full of grease to where it's tight, because it'll actually generate more heat and actually can cause damage that way. So what I do is I just coat the entire inside, make sure you got a good layer on all the races. And I know that these are rusty. These have been sitting around for about 10 years. This is just going on a rolling chassis, so I'm not worried about it. If I was going to use this tomorrow, I would probably turn these just to take the rust off of it. That's just a light layer of surface rust, and for my purposes it's not really bothering anything. So I'm just going to slap them on there so I can roll this thing around. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see this very well or not, but I got a really good coating clear through the hub, but I do not have it packed tight to where it's going to be tight on the spindle. Okay, put a little bit more on the outside of the bearing now. Drop it in. Now we're ready to install the seal. And you can tell the back side of the seal because it has the bare metal. It's kind of like a cup. That cupped part goes to the inside of the wheel. The back side that faces the chassis when you put it on is this side here, so you want that up. And this is probably not the right way to do this, but if you're real careful, you can just tap it in, get it started all the way around. And then you just want to drive it down flush with the back of this, with the back of the hub. I've seen people actually drive it down to where it was holding the bearing tight. You don't want that. You just want to flush with the back side of the rotor. That's really it. And then you want to, before you slide that on there, you want to put a little bit of grease onto that seal so it slides on nice and easy and gives it a little protection from moisture. Moisture is not your friend. And now we're just going to drop the outside bearing in, put a little coating on the outside of it. All the way around good. Drop it in. And then you're ready to go. Okay, we're about ready to put the hub on the spindle. I like to put a little bit of grease on the spindle. Just give it a little coating. Like I said, moisture is not your friend. Just to give it a little bit to protect it. And make sure you get a little bit where the seal is going to go. This is an S10 spindle. I'm working on a project that has an S10 chassis, a 51 Chevy truck body, and it's going to be using a 84 Camaro drivetrain. The hubs that I'm putting on here are off the Camaro. They are the exact same hubs. 84 Camaro is the same as a 94 S10. Figure that. The only thing that's different is the rear seal is not the same. So as you can see, I've already dropped in my outside bearing. Make sure you get it slid all the way back till the seal seats, which it just did. Okay. Now it's okay to put just a little bit more grease here if you want, and it's not going to hurt anything. Don't forget to put the washer on. Then your castle nut, and it's okay to put a little grease here too. Just make sure everything's got a good coating on it. I just like to prevent moisture from getting to any of the surfaces in there. Especially since I'm not driving this, it's just going to be sitting. If you were going to drive it and get it hot, it would probably distribute the grease a little bit more. But since it's just sitting, I don't want moisture getting to any bare surfaces in here. Tighten the castle nut down until it's snug. Do not over tighten. There should be no load pressed against the bearings. Then you want to get this to line up with the hole. Your castle nut to line up. Put a cotter key in there. I also put a little bit of grease on the inside of the cap just to, like I say, coat all surfaces, keep moisture from getting to anything. Go ahead and bend your cotter key over and put the cap on. I always tap around the outside. I don't usually hit it here in the middle because it'll dent usually if you're not careful. And in a little bit here, I'm going to put it down on the floor and let you see how it sits. That's the 94 S10 chassis with drop spindles. I think they're Beltec. And the 84 Chevy Camaro rotors and brake calipers. Everything fits great. I just put on some drop spindles that were given to me by a guy from my forum that I belong to. Everything fits perfect. And of course, no job is complete without a little cold refreshment afterwards. Thanks for watching. Good stuff.